Hi everyone! Welcome back to TaraChessAcademy. I hope you all are doing well. I know from where I live, it's so sunny out, and I'm doing great. I'm so happy. How are you doing, Yulya?
I'm also doing very good, thank you. So the same sunny day for me.
That's great. And what makes me even more happy is being able to play chess today. So today, we're going to learn about interception. An interception is when you block a piece, and here we're going to see how we can use interception to win the game.
Yeah, for today we prepared several interesting positions for all of you. So let's start. So as Tara said, an interception means that you want to block some pieces of your opponent, and probably you also want to block some files, ranks, or diagonals for these pieces, so they will be unable to control or to defend, to attack some squares or some pieces. So let's start with the position on the chessboard. If you have a look, you see that black has 4 extra pawns, yeah? So it means that we shouldn't waste any time if we want to win, and let's think what exactly we can do. So of course, we can think about checks or captures first, and when you have a look at the chessboard, you also may think about some ideas that maybe don't work for the moment, but if you change position a little, if you find the way how you can help yourself, so these ideas could work. So for instance, I see a nice plan with playing queen h5, yeah? So it could be a very good double attack. But for now, this move doesn't look so good, yeah? So there is a black queen then that just captures the white queen. So that's why maybe we can find something that could help us to move the queen to h5. So what do you think, Tara?
So maybe using the interception idea, let's try to figure out a way how we could block the queen from guarding h5. So the idea is that we want our queen to move to h5, but the black queen is guarding that square. So how can we put a piece in the way to block the queen from guarding h5?
Okay, so as I see, white has 2 pieces that can get to g5. It's a knight or a bishop, yeah? So maybe we can start with bishop g5, yeah? So what is the plan? For instance, if black captures, then we play queen h5 and our plan works. But does it mean that black has to capture the bishop, or maybe there is some defense?
Let's see. Oh, so maybe
Maybe the queen can move somewhere and still protect h5 in this position.
Oh, I see it now. So maybe the queen could come to f7 and guard h5.
Yeah, so queen f7 looks pretty good for black. Of course, even in this position, white can play knight d6, yeah, get the rook, so to win an exchange. But white still has an advantage, but I think it takes a little bit more time to win the game. So yeah, bishop g5 is a possibility that we can try. But you know, when you see a good move, try to find a better one. So now we can discuss knight g5, yeah? So knight sacrifice. Let's see what happens if black captures the knight. So Tara, what would you do?
Okay, so if the pawn captures the knight, now our queen can safely come to h5, attack the king and the rook. When the king gets out of check, we would capture the rook.
Okay, so king goes to g8, yeah. Queen takes e8. After king h7, maybe we can even play queen h5 check first, and then rook takes e7. So to be honest, I don't see how black can protect the king from this checkmate. So black just has to lose the queen. So and position would be winning for us. Yeah, so this is what happens if black accepts this sacrifice. But let's also discuss the move like king g8, yeah? So the king moves away. So what should we do in this position?
Okay, so if the king moves away, I think we can still move our queen to h5 to attack the rook.
So we still follow the plan. Okay, in this position, I think black can try to defend it, playing king f8, or maybe the rook can move away. So for instance, what would you do after king f8 in this position, Tara?
Okay, so if the king moves away, then... Oh, I see a problem here. If we move our queen to h8, it's not a checkmate because the black queen would block.
Yeah, so that's why queen h8 is not the strongest move. So maybe we have a better check.
So maybe a better check is knight h7.
Okay, knight h7. So the king has to move away from the rook. And now maybe we can use an idea about desperado pieces, yeah? So of course we can capture the rook immediately and then black gets the knight. So this knight becomes a desperado piece. It means that we're gonna lose it, right? So it's better to trade it for something than lose for free. So what ideas do you have? So what could we do with this knight?
So with the knight, maybe it could capture the pawn. I know you might think, what are you doing? That's a bad move. Now you're going to lose your knight. But remember, if we capture the rook first, the king is going to get the knight. So it's better to at least lose the knight but get 1 point. And that's fine.
Yeah, so, and also I think it's important for us to open position of the king more, because now when it escapes from the check, we can use the rook. Yeah, so we play rook takes c7 and move it with check.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course it's an absolutely winning position, and I think that white gonna mate the black king in several moves. So now let's go back to this position and discuss what happens if the rook moves away. Yeah, so maybe rook d8 could be played. So what should we do? How could we improve our position? What ideas do you have?
So my idea is to use our rook and capture the black knight.
Okay, so if we take the knight, I think that black also gets the knight. So do we have enough pieces to improve this attack? Or we just get a losing endgame because black still has 4 extra pawns?
So it looks a bit hard for white, but let's try to think it through. So if our queen moves to g6, we're threatening a queen and helper mate with the helper as the rook, but then the black queen could move to d4 to guard this spot. Notice that it shouldn't go to the e file because the rook would just capture.
Yeah.
So the queen goes to d4 and guards the checkmate spot. And now if you're thinking, is there any way to distract the queen? I don't think we can do that. So we can't move our bishop anywhere or do anything to distract the black queen.
Yeah, so that's why. I think that maybe now we can use a rule about usually it's good to use new pieces in your attack, yeah? So it looks like the white queen takes a part in attack, so maybe we can use...
Add a new piece. Yeah, so maybe we can add the bishop because right now it's not part of the action. So we can move it into the action by going to c3.
Okay. Yeah, so let's try bishop c3. I think that this idea about attacking the pawn on g7 is so powerful, so to be honest, I don't see how black can protect the pawn. So, I mean, to play queen d4 or queen e5, but of course these moves, both of them are losing. Very good for us that we control d1 square. Yeah, so even if black tries to check the king, it doesn't make any sense. We still capture the queen. So yeah. Okay, So yeah, knight g5 is a very nice example of the interception in this position. And you see how important it is for our queen to get to h5. Yeah. So, okay, I hope that everything that we discussed is not like hard for you. Yeah, so you understood everything, and now we can go to the next position.
Okay.
So probably it's also about interception. So let's think, but of course it doesn't mean that we have to use an interception immediately. Maybe it's like second move or the third move. So as in previous position, you see that black has some extra pawns, and position of the white king is a little bit open. So it looks like white still doesn't have time to like for some not attacking moves, for some passive moves. So maybe we should start with some attacking move, or who knows, let's discuss checks or captures.
So sometimes people think that giving checks are the most aggressive because then your opponent doesn't have a free move. But other times, if the move that you make will force your opponent to stop a big threat, that still is considered as a forcing move. Because, for example, if you're threatening a checkmate, that's a forcing move, unless they want to be checkmated, which they don't want to. So, here, if we try some move to threaten a checkmate on the next move, we could move our bishop to e8.
Yeah, but let's also discuss, for instance, rook e8. Yeah, so what happens if we start with check? So I think that black has to capture, bishop takes, yeah, and you see that after bishop 8, there is a plan to make the king on d7, yeah, using the queen. So how could black protect this square? I think that black should play queen f5. Yeah, of course, not queen g4, because then we have to say goodbye to the queen. So it's queen f5. And to be honest, I don't see how white can improve this position. So that's why rook a8 doesn't work. Yeah, but let's go back to your proposition. So what happens if white starts with bishop a8 immediately? I'm not sure that it would be so good to capture. Yeah, then probably white takes with the rook. Yeah, and I don't think that white can mate the king, so probably just skewer, rook takes a8, yeah, and we have an extra rook and a rook for a bishop. So of course this position is absolutely winning. So that's why, what could black do? Yeah, if you remember previous variation, black has to play queen f5, yeah, protecting the 7th square. So let's think, maybe there is still nothing we can do, or in this position white can win. What do you think, Tara?
Okay, so the queen is guarding the checkmate spot on d7, but we can block the queen by using interception if we move our rook to e6.
That's nice. So you see, this is why we shouldn't start with rook 8. We still need this rook. We have to move it to e6. And still no good checks. Yeah, so queen g4 or queen f2 don't make any sense. So,
Yeah.
okay, if black captures the rook with a pawn, what would you do?
I would just make a checkmate by moving my queen to d7.
Okay. Queen goes to d7. Okay. So what happens if black captures with a queen? Yeah. I think we take with a pawn, and black even doesn't have time for taking the bishop. Yeah, because then still mate in 1. Yeah. And okay, if black captures the bishop, so we still follow our plan. Yeah, and of course we get like just a lot of extra material. So yeah.
Yeah.
Position is winning.
We have a rook, a queen, another rook, and then we just bring that rook into action, get some pawns, and in a few moves it will be checkmate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope you understood interception and the ideas of it, And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. I'll see you on my next video. Bye!
Bye!